Doreen Granpeesheh is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh.
Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
I'm overwhelmed with questions here, but I want to get to some dads here. Brian wrote in and said, my son with medium high functioning ASD has a wealth of words and comprehension, but it's bottled up until something he is fixated on fills his thoughts. Hence, he achieves things and reads or creates with crafts, and then the parents, become very congratulatory with all this high praise, but that's their mistake number one, because their response can be too dramatic and not normal, and boom, then it's too much stimulation, and there's an immediate meltdown and anger, and suddenly everything shuts down for 40 minutes, and that his son becomes angry and shrieking, and that sometimes there is aggressive behavior. There's more, and that problem. I don't know whether this is part of the same problem, that then he'll remain silent and neutral and somewhat punitive without projecting no care, and mom and dad are not a safe place. Hard, because our almost 5-year-old can unravel on a dime. I'm just sending you a hug because my son did not ever like it when I raised my voice above a conversational thing. So if I would go, good job, he would completely lose it. But for him, he could have a therapist next to him who would just be like bouncing off the walls, and it was totally fine. He just couldn't handle it from me. And
Yeah.
I'm a bossy gut girl and a big mouth. Now we're clear on who I am. But I would want to do that effusive praise, and I had to learn to go, that's so good, and whisper it. And it was hard for me because that's not who I am.
Yeah.
But when it's both of you, that's extra hard. So I'm sending you some love right now.
Yeah.
But talk to me, Dr. Granpeesheh.
So there's actually a couple of things that are it's a great question, Brian, first of all, because you are bringing to light the actual definition of what a reinforcer is. So in behavioral terminology, it's really interesting. We don't think of reinforcers as good things, right? Like in normal life, we think reinforcer equals like the things that we all like. And that's not the way it is, especially in the world of autism, because some of the things that we consider to be good things or things we like are actually punishment for our kids. And this is a great example. So the reinforcers in the behavioral language are things that increase behavior, which basically means that they just have to be things that are very specifically rewarding to your child. Not to you, not to me, not to anyone else, but to your child. So the way to look at it is, and so we ask ourselves, what could possibly be causing this? First of all, it could just be that from a sensory perspective, it's too overwhelming. So it's too loud. It's very like overwhelming, and he becomes startled when you guys do this. And even though your intent is to reward him and tell him how well he did and praise him, it's just too overwhelming and too startling, right? So from a sound and sensory perspective, it could also be, as it was in Shannon's case, it could just be that because if you think about it, if in a typical day, the time that you become very loud or very, I guess, hyper animated is usually if you are angry or scared. And our kids read that. When you get scared, when you as a parent get scared, you will raise your voice and you'll be panicking and going pretty fast. When you get angry, you will raise your voice and you will be going pretty fast. And our children read the common theme, which is they are louder and going pretty fast. And they get scared because they can't figure out that it's the difference between, oh no, right now you're happy with me, as opposed to back then you were angry or you were afraid. And so it's too much. Now with a stranger, like Shannon said, they can probably tell because the stranger raising their voice, there is no history of the stranger getting mad at them or getting scared. So they don't have that to fall back on. So I think it's very, very important that you find other ways of reinforcing your child. And believe me, there are ways. You just have to find them. Sometimes it could be, as Shannon said, you just lower your voice and that works. Sometimes it could be they need touch, or for some kids, touch may be aversive. Sometimes it could be you backing off might be a reinforcer. And sometimes you just need to go to, like just a high five, or just non-social reinforcers, such as giving the child access to a favorite toy or a food or something like that. One of my child who's I'm working with right now, honestly, within the course of a month, just a month or so, he went from needing a food reinforcer for every correct response to now he is on a 10 sticker token system for the same amount of food reinforcer. So he has to earn 10 stickers before he can get a small piece of cookie, and it works. And so, like, don't worry about it if you're back to giving your child tangible reinforcers like food, because you can very easily replace them with token systems. But it is super, super, super important that you have a way of rewarding your child that is positive to them. So play around with it.
There we go.
If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.
Don't forget, you can watch Ask Dr. Doreen live every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time on autism-network.com. We hope to see you there.